I am 80 years old, and after all this time, after all the years I spent running from one thing to another, I can finally say this out loud. I misunderstood the woman who loved me, and it cost me the rest of my life. It's strange how the mind works at this age. Some memories stay sharp as glass, others fade into a fog. But that day, when I walked out the door and left her standing there, is as clear to me now as it was 40 years ago. She wasn't crying. That kind of tired that comes when someone has been trying to reach you for years and finally gives up. I thought I was right. I told myself I was right, and I carried that certainty like armor through the decades that followed. Now, looking back, I can't even tell you what the argument was really about. Not the words, not the reason. Just the feeling, that heavy, choking certainty that she had disappointed me somehow, and I couldn't forgive it. I remember the silence between us before I left, how it filled the room, how it followed me all the way down the road. At the time, I thought I was choosing dignity. I told myself I was standing up for my principles. That's what I said to friends, to my brother, to anyone who asked. But if I'm being honest, I think I was just protecting my pride. Pride is a quiet thing. When you're young, it feels like backbone, like strength. But in the end, it isolates you. It keeps you company for years, but it never holds your hand. I was 40 then. She was 38. We had been married for 15 years. We had a small house, 2 bedrooms, a garden that she loved more than anything. She used to grow these white lily near the fence. I never cared for them back then. I thought they were just more work, more mess. Funny, the things you miss when they're gone. I left without much. A few clothes, some papers, a few savings. I thought I'd start fresh, find purpose, prove a point. I told myself she would move on, that we'd both be better for it. I was wrong on both counts. The first years away were loud. I kept myself busy, work, travel, people. I tried to make it seem like life was full. But every quiet evening, every empty Sunday morning, there was this echo. I'd think of her sitting in that old kitchen, probably reading, maybe humming that little tune she liked. I could picture her so clearly, it almost felt like punishment. I wrote her a letter once, about 5 years after I left. I never sent it. I kept rewriting it, changing the words, trying to make myself sound reasonable, not guilty. But I could never find the right tone, because deep down I knew there was no way to justify what I'd done. Eventually, I tore it up. Time passed the way it always does, slowly, then all at once. I moved from one rented place to another. Friends faded, family grew distant. You think people will check in on you, but life moves on, and silence grows comfortable. Every now and then I'd hear something about her, through a cousin, a neighbor, someone who knew someone. She never remarried. That part hurt the most. Not because I wanted her to wait for me, but because it meant I had left a wound that never quite healed. When I turned 70, I thought about visiting her. I even looked up her address again, the same little town, the same street. I rehearsed what I would say, how I would knock, how I would tell her I was sorry. I pictured her face holder, maybe softer, maybe not angry anymore. But I never went. Cowardice, pride, fear, whatever name you give it, it's the same thing. But I'll never know. 2 years later, I got a letter from her niece. I sat with that letter for a long time. I don't remember crying, just this hollow feeling, like I'd been holding my breath for 40 years, and finally let it out. I went to her grave. It was a small place, quiet, with a few trees and a stone bench nearby. Her name was carved neatly, just her name and the years. Someone had placed a bunch of white lily there. I remember kneeling down, tracing her name with my fingers, and realizing how little I'd understood her when I had the chance. She wasn't difficult. She wasn't distant. She was just trying to love someone who never learned how to listen. People think regret comes all at once, like a storm. But it doesn't. It seeps in year after year in small ways. You feel it when you wake up alone and there's no one to make coffee for. You feel it when you reach for a memory and realize no one else remembers it with you. That's the part that hurts the most, not the loss itself, but the absence of a witness. I sometimes talk to her now quietly when I'm alone. I tell her about the weather, about the garden I tried to grow last year. I planted lily for her. They didn't bloom the first time. Too much shade, I think. But I tried again. They finally came through last spring, small, delicate, pure white. I sat beside them for hours, just watching. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't even know what that would look like anymore. I just hope she knew, before she left, that I never stopped thinking of her. That even through all my stubborn years, she never left me, not really. Her voice, her patience, her quiet way of seeing through my noise, it stayed. Now, at 80, I spend most of my days in silence. It's not loneliness, exactly. It's more like an echo that's finally run out of sound. I live in a small room, not much different from the one we started in. I keep her picture on the shelf. She's smiling in it just slightly. I try to remember what she was thinking when it was taken. Probably something simple, something kind. She always had that look like she knew something I didn't. Turns out she did. If I could go back, I wouldn't try to change the big things. I'd change the small moments, the ones that didn't seem to matter. I'd stay in the kitchen when she tried to talk. I'd listen instead of defending myself. I'd let her finish her thoughts. I'd say thank you more often, and I'd tell her clearly and without pride that I loved her. I just didn't know how to say it. Without feeling weak, Dot, it's a strange thing, realizing you were wrong for most of your life. But there's a quiet relief in admitting it. I used to think regret was the worst feeling a person could have. Now I think it's the most honest one. It means you cared. It means you finally saw the truth, even if it's too late to do anything about it. I don't have many years left. I can feel it in my bones, in my breath. Nights are longer now, and mornings come slower. I've stopped waiting for anything. I just try to sit with what's left, the sound of rain, the smell of lily, the faint warmth of sunlight on my hands. These are small mercies, but they're real. If someone younger is listening, I won't tell you what to do. I'm not in a position to give advice, but I'll say this: don't wait until you're my age to realize that being right isn't the same as being kind. That silence can wound deeper than words, and that love, real love, isn't proved by leaving. It's proved by staying. That's all I wanted to say, really. There's nothing left to fix. Just the story of a man who walked away and spent 40 years learning what it meant to lose something irreplaceable. I visit her grave every spring now. I bring Lily, the same kind. She used to grow. I sit for a while. I talk to her in my head. And when I leave, I always look back once, like maybe she's still there, standing by the fence, watching me go. I suppose that's where my story ends, not with forgiveness, not with peace, just with a quiet understanding. I was loved once, more deeply than I deserved, and I didn't know it until it was gone.